Hi everyone, I'm Amanda Wilson. I'm 25, a marketing manager at Thompson & Company. Life was perfect, until it wasn't. It all started 6 months after Lucas and I got married. Baby, my parents aren't getting any younger. We should move in with them, Lucas said one evening. His warm brown eyes convinced me it was the right thing to do. Of course, sweetie. They've been so kind to me, I replied, unaware of what lay ahead. The first week was pleasant enough. Margaret, my mother-in-law, gave me a tour of their sprawling Victorian mansion. "This will be your home now, dear. We do things differently here," she said. That should have been my first red flag. At dinner, Margaret would glare at my phone. "Amanda, why is your phone always in your hand? It's rude during family time." I tried to explain. I was just checking work emails. But she'd snatch it from me. "I'll return it when you need it for work." Lucas sat there, silent, just stirring his soup. Mom's right, honorable, let's focus on family. Next came the financial control. "Your paycheck should go into our family account," Robert, my father-in-law, announced one morning. "We pool resources here." When I protested, Margaret interjected, "We provide everything you need." Lucas nodded in agreement, leaving me feeling trapped. Linda, Lucas's sister, observed my every move from her room across the hall. "Mom, Amanda was on the phone in the backyard for 30 minutes today," she'd report. I felt under surveillance 24/7. My only solace was Rachel, a friend from work. "This isn't normal," she whispered over lunch one day. I tried to brush it off. They mean well. But deep down, I knew she was right. My brother Mark noticed the change in me too. "Sis, you look different." "Everything okay?" he asked during a rare visit, but I'd lie. "I'm fine." Margaret's sharp gaze from the kitchen window reminded me to stay quiet. One day Sarah, our neighbor, slipped me her number while we were out getting the mail. If you ever need to talk, I hid that number in my work badge, knowing it might be my only lifeline. The final straw was when they installed cameras throughout the house. "It's for security," Lucas explained. But each night, I saw Margaret studying the footage, taking notes. I felt like a prisoner under constant surveillance. One evening, I answered the house phone to hear from my cousin Janet. The second I hung up, Margaret stormed in. "You answered our phone without permission? There are rules in this house." Sarah heard the shouting from across the fence. "Everything okay?" she called. Margaret scowled, "Mind your business," as she yanked me back inside. That night, lying in bed, I realized my perfect marriage had turned into a nightmare. But they didn't know one thing. I was already planning my escape. They thought they had me trapped, but Amanda Wilson doesn't break that easily. Not anymore. Then, one evening, Lucas came into our room. "Your mother's in the hospital," he said coldly. "Who told you?" I asked, heart racing. "I called home. She had a heart attack." At that moment, Margaret burst in, her face red with anger. "You used the house phone without permission?" She hissed. "My mother is sick. I had to." "Living under our roof means following our rules," Margaret spat. She marched me down to the dining room, where everyone was seated. Robert smirked. Linda had her phone out, and Lucas wouldn't even look at me. "If you can't follow simple rules, you don't deserve a place at this table," Margaret sneered. She grabbed my plate, threw it to the floor, and commanded, "Eat from the floor like the disobedient dog you are." Tears filled my eyes as I knelt down, humiliated, forcing myself to swallow the cold spaghetti as shame burned in my throat. The next day, Linda announced gleefully, "Look what I found." She held up my grandmother's sapphire necklace. "It was hidden in Amanda's drawer," she said smugly. "Thief," Margaret yelled. First disobedience, now stealing. Check the security cameras. I begged them to check the security footage, insisting it would show Linda sneaking into my room. But Robert just smirked. Unfortunately, the cameras were down yesterday. Then they locked me in my room for 2 days. "Until you learn respect," Margaret sneered as she shut the door. But I used that time well. I hid in a small camera, recording their voices through the walls. One evening, I caught Lucas murmuring to Linda outside my door. "Should have married her for her money like we planned, but her family's broke. Total waste. At least we're getting her salary." Linda laughed, "And those fake investment documents you made looked pretty convincing." I recorded everything. The abuse escalated. They controlled my bathroom breaks, forbade me from work calls, drained my bank accounts. One morning, as I tried to leave for a client meeting, Robert blocked the door. Going somewhere? He asked. Cancel it. Margaret needs help cleaning. I feigned defeat, nodding. Yes, sir. Inside, I was only getting stronger. Late at night, I overheard Lucas on the phone, slurring his words. Yeah, cook the books real good. Boss won't notice the missing funds. What audit? He carelessly left documents lying around, and I snapped photos of wire transfers, fake accounts, evidence of this fraud. Linda grew bolder with her theft. My wedding ring vanished, then my watch. Each time they blamed me. Such a disappointment, Margaret sneered at dinner. No wonder your own mother had a heart attack. I ate silently, documenting every insult, every humiliation. They thought they were breaking me, but each word was another piece of my case. One night, Lucas grabbed my arm hard enough to leave a bruise. Mom says you've been acting suspicious, he hissed. I played along, acting frightened. I'm just trying to do better, I promise. He bought it, just as they all did, never realizing every bruise was photographed, every threat recorded, every document copied. My friend Rachel was my lifeline. Please tell me you got my message, I whispered into my hidden phone one day in the office bathroom. Girl, I've been worried sick. That bruise on your face. She began, but I cut her off. I can't talk long, I need your help. We planned quick, secret meetings when I had client calls. Rachel's car would wait 3 blocks away, hidden. She assured me, everything's backed up, safe in the cloud. Then, during one of our meetings, I whispered, I found something in Lucas's briefcase. They're running insurance scams through the family business, claiming fake damages. That's how they're funding their new beach house. The tax forms I copied showed they hadn't paid taxes in years. Robert was funneling money through offshore accounts hidden under layers of fraud. One night, as I cleaned in Margaret's office, a stack of real estate papers slipped out of Lucas's drawer. Properties flipped multiple times in a single day, values inflated with each sale. I quickly photographed everything. Just tidying up, Margaret. I called upstairs, my heart racing. During a supervised visit, my brother Mark slipped me a card from a domestic violence advocate. Dropped my keys, he whispered, bending down. Jennifer's expecting your call. I kept that card hidden, knowing it might be my way out. Jennifer, my advocate, became my silent ally. Keep gathering evidence, she advised. Meanwhile, Sarah, my watchful neighbor, captured everything she saw and heard. Heard the screaming again last night. She told me over the fence while I pretended to garden under Margaret's watchful eye. Got it all on video, even that thing with the garden hose. Linda's obsession with surveillance backfired. She'd recorded her own threats, thinking she was catching me in the wrong. One night, when Margaret saw her footage, she shouted, "Delete that now." But it was too late. I'd already uploaded it to my evidence folder. Lucas was getting sloppy. One evening, after a few too many drinks, he left his laptop open. Come to bed, baby, he called. But I was busy snapping photos of emails about fake insurance claims. Just finishing up some business, he slurred. Of course, honey, I replied, click, click, click. The next morning, as I made breakfast, Margaret watched me with satisfaction. You're finally learning your place. Yes, Mother Margaret, I replied, every word recorded by the hidden camera in my necklace. At dinner, Robert boasted, just flipped another property. Those suckers didn't see it coming. I hit record, every smirk, every sneer documented. Jennifer helped me plot every detail. Once you're ready, we move fast. Rachel had secured a safe apartment for me under her name. Mark found a fierce divorce lawyer. Then the final piece fell into place. Linda, not realizing her phone was recording, bragged on a call. We've got her trapped. She has no idea about the offshore accounts. I saved that audio directly to my folder. Sarah, ever vigilant, recorded Robert threatening me in the driveway, Margaret tossing my clothes onto the lawn, Lucas shoving me against the car. Look at this sad little bird trying to fly away. Margaret mocked me when she caught me looking out the window one night. I lowered my eyes, pretending to cower under her gaze. She thought she'd broken me. What she didn't know was that every cool move they made only equipped me with the tools to bring them down. The game was almost over, and they had no idea. They were already defeated. It all came to a head when my boss insisted I attend a mandatory week-long business conference. Margaret's face turned purple with fury when I mentioned it. Absolutely not, she shouted, but I wasn't backing down. It's mandatory, Mother Margaret, I calmly replied. Lucas, sensing an opportunity to keep me in line, stepped in. Let her go. We don't want her losing that paycheck. It was the perfect excuse. Rachel picked me up for the airport, and my packed suitcase was light, containing only essentials and the carefully hidden evidence I'd been gathering. As we drove away, I whispered, "Goodbye, House of Horrors." 3 days later, everything fell apart. I saw a flood of desperate voicemails from Lucas. "Amanda, answer your phone now," he pleaded. The universe was playing its hand. While I was away, Lucas's fraud had been exposed. A colleague had reported him, and soon the headlines read, "Wilson Enterprises CEO and CFO arrested for massive corporate fraud." The best part? Linda called me, begging, "You have to come back. They're investigating everything." I coldly responded, "Sorry, wrong number," before hanging up from my new apartment. The dominoes fell beautifully. IRS agents swarmed their home after someone, definitely not me, tipped them off about Robert's tax evasion. Margaret's screams were broadcast on the news when she was arrested. "This is all Amanda's fault," she shrieked, but in reality, it was their own greed that had done them in. The icing on the cake came when Linda's own theft ring was exposed. Security footage from various stores revealed her stealing the same items she had accused me of taking. It was all over the internet. "Your family's going viral," Rachel said, showing me her phone. The now infamous floor-eating video leaking during court proceedings. And then my new life began. Thompson & Co. promoted me to Director of Marketing. My brother Mark helped me move into my own place, my own space, my own rules. I started speaking at domestic violence support groups, sharing my story and helping others find their escape. 6 months later, Lucas tried to reach out through my lawyer, begging, "Baby, I've changed. I'm getting help." I didn't hesitate. "Save it for your cellmate," I replied. Margaret sent letters from prison. "We're still family," she wrote. I used those letters as kindling in my fireplace. As for the rest of them, they lost everything. Robert and Margaret received decade-long sentences for tax evasion. Linda got 5 years for organized retail theft. The Wilson family business was liquidated to pay victims, and their beloved Victorian house was seized by the government. Their social standing was obliterated by their own recorded abuse. One night, over wine in my new backyard, Rachel asked, "Did you plan all this?" I smiled. "Nope, I just planned my escape." They destroyed themselves. My story went national. The floor-eating video sparked outrage and eventually led to stronger domestic violence laws. A support group member told me, "You're an inspiration." But I shook my head. I'm not an inspiration. I'm just a woman who refused to stay broken. Last I heard, Lucas was serving 15 years. He still sends birthday cards I never open. Margaret and Robert lost everything, both their beach house and their offshore accounts. Linda now writes true crime stories from prison, which is so ironic. As for me, I'm thriving. My marketing firm is successful, my home is peaceful, and my life is mine again. Sometimes I drive past their old house. A new family lives there now, and I can hear the sound of laughter coming from the open windows. The golden cage that once trapped me is now empty, and this bird, she's soaring free. Remember my story, not for revenge, it was just karma doing its job. Remember it because you're stronger than you think. No cage, no matter how gilded, is worth your freedom. What would you have done if you were in my shoes? When Margaret forced me to eat from the floor, would you have quietly gathered evidence like I did, or would you have confronted her right then and there? Some people say I should have fought back immediately, but I chose the long game. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to hear more stories of triumph over toxic people, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Your support helps me continue sharing real-life experiences that can help others recognize and escape abusive situations. Stay strong, and remember, sometimes the quietest revenge is the most powerful.